Imagine this place nestled high up in the mountains, where life unfolds way above sea level. We're talking about Bolivia, a landlocked country smack dab in the middle of South America. It's bordered by Brazil to the east, Argentina and Paraguay to the south, Chile to the southwest, and Peru to the west, making Bolivia a real gem of culture and natural beauty. The official capital is Sucre, but it's in La Paz where the government's heart beats strongest. Nestled in the Bolivian west, in a breathtaking valley surrounded by majestic mountains, La Paz not only offers jaw-dropping views, but also a unique experience thanks to its high altitude. The city sits at about 11,942 feet above sea level, making it one of the highest capitals in the world. In La Paz, the high altitude can really put you to the test if you're not used to it, causing symptoms like shortness of breath and dizziness. If you're visiting, it's essential to take preventive measures, like letting your body gradually adjust to the high altitudes and avoiding intense exercise in the first few days. But beyond the challenges, this unique setting opens doors to extraordinary experiences in the mountains of South America. Being up high, La Paz usually has a chilly and dry climate all year round. Days are typically clear and pleasant, but nights can get pretty cold, so you gotta be ready to handle temperature changes throughout the day. The city is also a vibrant cultural, political, and economic hub of Bolivia, attracting many visitors. Walking through the streets of La Paz means diving into colorful markets selling everything from local products to crafts. The fascinating Mercado de las Brujas in La Paz is a real cultural melting pot, offering a variety of products related to traditional medicine and spiritual rituals. The city also stands out for its impressive architecture, combining historic buildings and colonial-era churches, along with several museums that narrate the rich histories of the region. Life at the altitude of the Bolivian mountains offers a unique and enchanting experience. Bolivia is a country of remarkable geographical contrasts, from the imposing mountains of the Andes to the vast Amazonian plains. The Andes mountain range runs through the country from north to south, featuring peaks like Illimani and Sajama, reaching heights of around 21,200 feet and 21,463 feet respectively. These peaks, often snow-capped and surrounded by active volcanoes, provide breathtaking landscapes. At the heart of the Andes lies the Bolivian Altiplano, an extensive highland area that is one of the highest inhabited zones on the planet. With an average altitude of 12,139 feet, the Altiplano is characterized by arid terrain, vast salt flats like the Salar de Uyuni, and biodiversity adapted to extreme conditions. Among Bolivia's mountains, fertile valleys harbor vibrant cities like La Paz and Cochabamba, starkly contrasting with the arid mountainous regions that characterize much of the country. These agricultural areas are vital to the local community. Heading north and northeast, the landscape transforms into the vast, dense jungles of the Amazon, a biodiversity treasure trove. This region is blanketed by thick vegetation and cut by mighty rivers like the Mamori and the Beni, which sustain a rich variety of wildlife. To the southeast, Bolivia stretches into the Chaco, a vast dry plain that Bolivia shares with other South American countries. The Chaco is known for its sparse vegetation and presence of cacti, under a predominantly arid climate. Additionally, Bolivia is rich in water resources, including major rivers like the Parana, Paraguay, and Pilcomayo, and a variety of saltwater and freshwater lakes, crucial for both the country's ecology and economy. Before being explored by Europeans, the region now known as Bolivia was already rich in cultural diversity, home to notable indigenous peoples such as those of the Tiwanaku civilization and later the Incas. The Tiwanakus, who thrived between the 6th and 9th centuries, left deep marks with their architectural innovations and sophisticated agricultural methods. In the 15th century, the advance of the Inca Empire integrated the area into its vast territory. The arrival of Spanish conquistadors in the 16th century, with figures like Diego de Almagro and Pedro de Ansúrez at the forefront, inaugurated a period of colonization that would transform the region. The discovery in 1545 of vast silver deposits in Cerro Rico de Potosi catalyzed a rush for natural resources, making Bolivia one of the most profitable territories of the Spanish Empire. During colonization, the area corresponding to modern Bolivia was initially part of the Viceroyalty of Peru, and later, from 1776, was incorporated into the Viceroyalty of the Rio de la Plata, centered in Buenos Aires. In the early 19th century, Bolivia started taking cues from independence movements in other Latin American nations, shaping its own freedom-seeking aspirations. The kickoff point of this journey was in 1809 in the city of Sucre, where the first major push for independence went down. That event sparked a series of rebellions that spread across the country. However, it wasn't until 1825 that Bolivia managed to solidify itself as an independent nation, led by Simon Bolivar, who later lent his name to the country. After clinching independence, Bolivia faced prolonged periods of political instability, marked by coups and frequent internal conflicts. The country also suffered severe territorial losses, notably the loss of access to the Pacific Ocean to Chile during the Pacific War. This conflict still stirs up geopolitical tension to this day. Throughout the 20th century, Bolivia continued to grapple with major instability, swinging between military regimes and provisional governments, with brief spells of fragile democracy in between. Around the turn of the century, Bolivia saw some major shifts, mainly powered by the rise of social movements stemming from indigenous communities. A historic milestone was hit with Evo Morales winning the 2006 election, becoming the country's first indigenous president. Nowadays, discussions in Bolivia revolve around critical issues like natural resource management, regional autonomy, and indigenous community rights. Bolivia is known for its vibrant cultural diversity and a population that holds a strong pride in its indigenous heritage. These aspects continue to deeply influence the country's political, social, and economic landscape. In rural areas, livelihoods still rely heavily on agriculture, with staples like corn, potatoes, quinoa, and coca being cultivated. Life in Bolivia's indigenous communities is deeply rooted in traditional customs. Dwellings are built with locally sourced materials, and access to basic services is often limited. However, these groups, including the Quechua, Aymara, Guarani, and others, maintain a strong connection to their lands and age-old traditions, both in rural and urban areas. They keep ancient practices alive, spanning from language and farming methods to religious rituals. In contrast, in major Bolivian cities like La Paz, Santa Cruz de la Sierra, and Cochabamba, the scene is quite different. In these metropolises, people typically live in apartments or individual houses, work in formal jobs, and have easy access to education, clean water, electricity, sanitation, as well as various forms of entertainment like restaurants, cinemas, and shopping centers. Bolivia, with its majestic mountains and dense forests, presents a growing economy that swings between significant challenges and promising opportunities. This South American country is blessed with an abundance of natural resources, including natural gas, oil, various minerals like lithium, zinc, copper, gold, and timber. Natural gas stands out as Bolivia's backbone for exports and a vital source of economic sustenance for the government. Sectors like agriculture and livestock also form the bedrock of Bolivia's economy. The nation grows soybeans, corn, rice, and is a major producer of beef and chicken, achieving self-sufficiency in various key foods and exporting surplus. The local industry, still maturing, has seen notable growth recently. Manufactured goods range from textiles and processed foods to beverages, chemicals, and construction materials. Tourism is booming, driven by the country's natural beauty, archaeological sites, and vibrant local culture. This sector has become a growing source of income and job creation, especially in rural regions. However, despite these advancements, Bolivia still grapples with high levels of poverty and social inequality, with 12% of its population living in extreme poverty and 37% in moderate poverty. Bolivia's economy heavily relies on the exploitation of its natural resources, making it vulnerable to fluctuations in international prices. The country still grapples with the need to enhance its infrastructure in essential areas like transportation, energy, and telecommunications to drive economic growth. Expanding these sectors could not only attract foreign investment, but also improve conditions for trade. Furthermore, economic integration with neighboring nations presents a valuable opportunity to bolster regional trade and investments, as well as enable cross-border infrastructure projects. Facing a future full of opportunities, Bolivia encounters crucial challenges. To overcome them, it's essential for the government to promote policies that foster economic diversification, invest in infrastructure improvements, combat poverty, and seek greater connectivity with other countries in the region. If you're thinking about visiting or even moving to Bolivia, it's worth getting an idea about the cost of living in the country. Preparing your own meals at home can cost between $145 to $200 per month. However, if you prefer dining out and enjoying more upscale dishes, your food budget could range from $300 to $400 per month. Generally, an individual meal at a restaurant costs between $5 to $8. As for rent, rural areas offer prices ranging from $100 to $500 per month. In more urbanized regions, rent can range from $400 to $600 per month. Buying a house is also an affordable option, with good quality properties starting at $15,000. For those seeking temporary accommodation, La Paz offers good options. Prices for a night start at $15, while luxury establishments hardly charge more than $60 per night. The appealing prices are just one of the many draws of Bolivia. This country stands out for its stunning landscapes and rich cultural heritage, visible in the indigenous communities that keep their ancient traditions alive. Despite facing economic and social challenges, Bolivia is becoming a popular tourist destination, thanks to its incredible natural beauty and affordable costs. The nation offers unique exploration experiences across a variety of landscapes and cultures, promising a bright future and continuing to attract those who value lush nature and the hospitality of its people. The way of life in Bolivia is unique and extremely attractive to those seeking a new life experience. Would you feel inspired to discover or even move to Bolivia? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave your like and comment. Turn on the notification bell to stay updated on all our content. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.